Oh boy. Okay. Hello. Welcome back. Another live stream. Yes. Character creation. Beginner character creation for the cleric. Uh, Not very easy to actually put together something for this, frankly. I'm going to take my glasses off because I don't know if I'll need them. It might actually make it worse at this present time, but we'll put them back on if I need to. My suggestion to you is that I'm going to put in a poll. I suggest that you use the poll. That gives me an idea of how many people are here specifically to build a character that is a cleric for the very first time, so I know how much guidance I need to give. I'm going to try to break things down so it's super simple. Normally what I do with these is I will give you a slideshow and cover the material that I need to cover. And I'm not going to be, this is not optimization, people. This is just learning how to do it for the very first time, okay, for a cleric, which is actually pretty difficult. But then we are heading into the more difficult classes, I would say. So I'm going to do a slideshow. I'm going to open up to Q&A, and then we will actually build a character together. So some of the things you probably need to do is if you have your phone out, you can watch me and listen to what I'm doing and see what I'm doing on your phone, and then have either a piece of paper or a character sheet with you, or open up a PDF on a laptop or on your computer, and then we will actually go through the process of building a character. And you can take some notes, you can see what I'm doing. It's all interactive. There's a lot of interactive, so you'll probably want at least dice. So if even if you don't have pen and pencil, you'll want to have some dice with you. Okay, so you don't have them, go find them. Go find them. Okay, let's get on with the job, which is, if I can find my mouse, there it is. I apologise for the my voice. I'm still struggling with the weather that we have. But yeah, we're just about ready to go. Pardon me. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Weller, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, because actually I almost always talk about Dungeons and Dragons. The topic for today is Dungeons and Dragons 5e. This is Lesson Plan 1, Beginner Character Creation. This is where we will actually go through the process of showing you and explaining the process of creating a character for a game that you're playing for Dungeons and Dragons 5e. The overview for today is character creation pre-check, so all the things you do before you even start making your character. The different character sheet formats that are available to you. We're going to cover character creation basic steps. There are some basic steps that we need to cover. And then we'll look at some of the advanced character details that you need to fill in. And then I'm going to do some miscellaneous recommendations. And then ultimately, we're going to do character class essentials. Now, character class essentials means I focus in on one particular character class. And today, it is the cleric. My objectives is I will try to explain everything, I will demonstrate, and I would like you to participate, because that is part of the process of this class. And otherwise it would make no point in doing this. Somebody else could do it. D&D Beyond has a character builder for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It is freely available, but you don't get all the options, you only get some of them. I'm going to be using that particular character builder today. That doesn't mean that I will always be using D&D Beyond, because I won't. But today I'm going to use that one. It's easy enough to use. I have all the assets, so we'll use that one. So yeah, the link is there. Go use it, check it out, see what you think. Character creation pre-check. This is all the stuff, as I said, that we do before we even start creating a character. I want you to check with your Dungeon Master what player options are available for the game that is being run. That's very important. They may not make everything freely available, so you need to check first. What house rules does the Dungeon Master have? You need to ask that question, because it will inform you when you're doing your character creation. It will affect what you can use for character creation, but it will also affect the way you wind up playing the game. And if they have house rules, that has quite a big significant impact. And so you will have to change the way that you build your character. If a Dungeon Master, for example, never uses passive perception, it would be stupid to take the observant feat, because it relies very much on a passive check. Build the character for the campaign. Okay, on the information provided by the Dungeon Master. Dungeon Masters should always be providing at least some information on the campaign so that you can build a character that will fit into that campaign. Ask relevant details that allow you to make your character fit into the adventure and campaign. If it doesn't fit, there's something wrong. The idea is not to make a character that is completely different to everybody else's and then for a Dungeon Master to try to pull all those characters together. It's actually the other way around. You build it based on the information. Now, they don't have to give away spoilers, and they shouldn't be doing so, but they should be giving you enough information that you know what to do with your character creation. Now, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but character creation always starts as a group discussion. You may, of course, spend some time in your room or on your own thinking about character ideas, but ultimately, when the process starts, you should be doing it as a group. It is a group discussion because the character you are playing is part of a team. It is part of a group machine, and the group machine requires you to work together. Now, working together can't be done in isolation. So when you look at character creation and you have your session 0, even if you don't have a session 0, have a get-together and have character creation together. It's a good way of getting to know each other outside of the game, like just random off-topic stuff, just getting to know each other and see if you actually like being around these people. Remember, character creation and playing Dungeons & Dragons, this is very much a team sport. So when you actually play Dungeons & Dragons, the actual game, it's a team sport. So character creation must start. It's essentially your training spot. So you have to do that together as well. Design your characters around the 3 pillars of play. And the 3 pillars are exploration, exploring stuff. There are lots of different aspects to that, traps, puzzles, but other stuff as well. Social interactions, this is where you are communicating with other NPCs and monsters. And then, of course, a big part of it is also combat, where you fight stuff. I want you to ask your Dungeon Master what ability score method is going to be used. Are you going to be using point-by systems, the standard array system? Are you going to be rolling dice to determine your ability scores? Okay, there are 6 ability scores that need to be determined, and we need to know how that's going to work. If you're going to roll dice, you must do that. You'll almost find always that you have to do it in front of the group. If you're not doing it in front of the group, you have to do it in front of the Dungeon Master. Okay, the Dungeon Master will want to see you rolling those dice. This is the only way you can ensure that people don't believe you are cheating, because people do cheat. I don't know why they bother, but they do. And it's usually because they are hoping to get better scores than they really wind up rolling initially the first time around. So when you're rolling dice, always stop and wait until you are and check with your Dungeon Master when it is going to be done. When determining your hit point method, like what sort of method is going to be used? Are you going to be rolling dice for hit points, or are you going to be applying just the average? Check with the Dungeon Master, see which one is allowed, and see when it's done. So again, just like rolling for ability scores, you'll find that when you roll for hit points, you'll probably have to do that in front of the group, particularly the Dungeon Master. Okay, they will want to see you rolling those dice. Not all Dungeon Masters use this method, particularly with new players, because it's hard to check a character sheet if you're having to keep a record of every single dice roll that was ever done for hit points or ability scores. Sometimes it's much easier to simply check it based off an average rather than a rolled dice score. Anyway, that's the basic pre-check that we have for our character creation. There are a number of different character sheet formats that we can use. And the first one is your standard paper character sheet. This is where you use a pencil and fill in the details. You could use a pen, but you can't rub out pen, and you will be making adjustments to your character sheet. So I would advise you, if you're using a simple paper photocopy of a character sheet, and there are plenty of different styles out there, make sure you use a pencil rather than a pen. A fillable PDF character sheet used by a lot of people. Very handy. You fill in the details, you make sure you sign it, it saves the document, and then you can keep it, and you can change the document as you go because it is a fillable PDF. Very handy. D&D Beyond Character Builder actually has the ability to export what you create in their character builder, and you can print it or you can turn it into a digital document. So that's pretty handy as well. There are lots of third-party character builders out there that have different types of styles of character sheets. There are so many different styles of character sheets available. Not only are there so many different styles of character sheet, you will find yourself inundated, in fact, with the types of character sheets out there. Everybody's trying to make their own character sheet right now. Character creation basic steps. There are some basic steps we need to follow when building our character. Starting off with selecting the level of your character that you're starting with. Now, this is usually determined by your Dungeon Master. In fact, it usually almost always is. If it is not stated as such, you're probably starting at level 1. But not all groups start at level 1. Some start at level 3, some start at level 5. If you're starting out for the very first time, the chances are you will start with a level 1 character. But you check with your Dungeon Master what level are you starting at, and you build the character for that. Write that down on the character sheet, what your level is going to be when you start. Select the class for your character and write down the relevant details on your character sheet. The classes are made up of essentially 4 different roles, and they've been broken up just recently into expert, warrior, what is the other one? I think it's something like wizards and healers or something like that. I mean, essentially it's something like that. Basically, there's usually somebody who is the skill monkey, somebody who is the fighter, somebody who is the wizard or mage, and somebody who is the healer. Those are sort of essentially the key roles. You just have to have a good idea of roughly what you want, and there are 4 different... Is it 4? 3 different classes that usually are associated with each one of those particular roles in the group. Select the race for your character and write down the relevant details on your character sheet. You'll find the information for the races is on page 17 to 43 of the Player's Handbook. For classes, you'll find that they are on page 45 to 119. There are, of course, other classes and races or subclasses that you can use from different supplements, but again, you need to check with your Dungeon Master that will be available to play in that particular campaign or world. Select the background for your character and write down the relevant details on your character sheet. Backgrounds are really good. They do not need to synergize with your race. They don't have to synergize with your class. They are essentially what your character did before they became an adventurer or a hero. You can find backgrounds in the Player's Handbook on page 125 through to 141. Even if you select one, you can actually make your own background. There's actually a small section in the back of that book around the background section, and it states that you can actually create your own background. You can also modify backgrounds. You just need to get sign-off from your Dungeon Master, and that's actually spelled out. There's only, I think, about a paragraph that talks about this. Select a feat for your character if you get one, and write down the relevant details on your character sheet. If you're starting at level 1, you probably won't get one. But if you're starting at level 5, you probably will be getting one. And also, too, some Dungeon Masters will hand out a feat when you start playing the game for the very first time. Not all Dungeon Masters use feats, so don't select feats unless you have checked with your Dungeon Master that you're going to be using feats in the game. Some Dungeon Masters don't use them, but the vast majority do. Feats, you will find the vast majority of the feats that you'll be using are in the Player's Handbook on page 165 to 170, but there are other supplements. Again, check with your Dungeon Master. Determine the character's 6 ability scores. That is your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And once you know what method you're using that's been approved, determine those scores. Once we have those scores, we can then figure out what the modifiers are, and we'll cover that a little bit later. You'll find the different methods for creating or determining your 6 ability scores. These are all the things that make up your character at a mathematical level. You'll find the information on page 12 through to page 13. So that is the basic steps of character creation, but we're not unfortunately finished. There's actually quite a lot more left to go. And the next step is, if you are playing a spellcaster, the advanced details and information you need on that character sheet is you need to select spells for your character, and you need to write them down. Write them down in the relevant section of your character sheet. You'll find that spells are in the Player's Handbook on page 207 to 289. There are a lot of spells. They're very complex. I recommend when you select your spells for your caster that you write down the page number as a reference point, because you probably won't remember how those spells work, and you'll need to go back to that later. And that will speed up the whole process. Try to learn your spells. You don't expect to learn them straight away, but you want to have an easy access point on your character sheet so you don't have to go flummaging through the book trying to figure out where it is. Select or buy equipment for your character and write that down on your character sheet. You'll find that the equipment for the characters is on the player's handbook on page 143 to 161. I think ultimately I always sort of recommend to people the best way to deal with this is select a pre-package first, and whatever money you have left over, go and spend it on equipment from the adventuring gear section because it's cheap. Okay, so a combination is usually, I think, probably the best way to go. And you eventually have to come to the maths. There is a lot of maths on this character sheet, but fortunately most of the formulas and the processes for getting that information are relatively simple. It's just knowing what they are and a step-by-step process. So calculating the ability score has already been worked out, hopefully, when you were generating them. That will give you your ability modifier. There will be 6 of them. Your proficiency bonus, okay, which is usually doesn't change very often, and it's usually very easy to find. Your skill modifiers, these are sort of extensions of your ability modifier. They are specific things you are proficient or trained in. So your skill modifiers, your saving throw modifiers, your armor class, how hard it is to hit you, your hit points, how long you can stay in the fight, your initiative, how quickly you respond in a battle, passive perception, you probably need to mark that down, which is 10 plus your perception modifier. And yes, there's also other types of passive checks, but we will just talk about that. Weapon attack bonuses, so how easy it will be for you to hit when you roll your 20-sided dice. Your weapon damage formulas, and there are many of them, so that can be quite complicated. Spell attack bonuses, your spell saving difficulty class. There's a lot of maths involved, okay? And so this is why it's probably good when you're starting out to use an app on your phone or a piece of software that does a lot of the maths for you, certainly when you're starting out. And then lastly, select or draw a character portrait. It's not vital, but it does help connect your concept and your imagination of the character you're trying to play to a physical medium, which is an image, okay? It could be a digital image, you could draw it yourself, you could select it. There are lots and lots of different character images and portraits out there. If you have children, you could just get them to draw it. If you have children playing the game, they like drawing stuff. They will draw their own portrait for their character. Okay, so everything I do here, I always give some miscellaneous recommendations, and I want to do the same thing today. My miscellaneous recommendations when you are starting out, particularly when it comes to character creation, is forget about optimization. That's for somebody who is very skilled at the game and likes that sort of thing. There are plenty of people out there who've played the game a long time and they never got into optimization ever. Okay, that's power gaming optimization, essentially the same sort of thing. The character's background can be anything that you want it to be. There is no need to select a background that is optimized to your class and your race. Okay, and not only that, you can make your background pretty much anything you want. You can adjust anything. You just need to go and inform your dungeon master and get sign off. And usually dungeon masters, if you follow the rules for how backgrounds are created, they don't usually have an issue with this. What race you select no longer has any real bearing on the character, okay? So there's so much flexibility with races with regard to the new rules that have been presented that you can even create your own race now. You just need to get it sign off and approval from your dungeon master. So don't need to worry about selecting a race that is going to be optimal. Again, back to optimization. You don't need to select a race that is optimal for the class that you have selected. You could pick anything. And then selecting adventuring gear. I highly recommend that you actually go through the process of selecting adventuring gear. It's easy to do. Any player character can do it because you all have some money to spend. And in fact, you'll find it helps prepare you for the challenges ahead, and it will give you things that you can do in your adventure that you might not have been able to do without that equipment. I have done a whole series of videos just talking about how to use mundane equipment in your game to make it easier to get past problems, solve challenges. And so I recommend doing this. My final note and recommendation to you, and that is I want you to note down the page number in the player's handbook or whatever books you're using for all of your spell descriptions. Every spell that you have, make sure you write down the page number as a reference so you know where to go and look for it, because you probably won't remember what those spell descriptions are. Particularly if you're playing a spellcaster, do that. I've already mentioned it, but do this. But also do the same thing. Mark down the page of the race abilities. So you need to, if you have race abilities, mark down the page number so you can find that page number. Particularly if you can't write all the information into the character sheet. Sometimes that's a bit too difficult to do. Do the same thing with your class features and your background features as well. And that'll simplify everything for you, make it easy for you to reference everything. And when a Dungeon Master asks you a question, you can answer fairly quickly because you know where to look. Now, I'm hoping that this was useful to you in some way and that you got the information you required. And if you did, great. I'm glad to hear that. Please ask your questions, give your feedback if you have any. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, I'm not gone. For those of you who actually are here just wanted the information on the Cleric, I'm about to do that. I just need a moment to catch my breath and drink some water. Yes, I do have a slide for it that will run down the very basics, and we will cover that in a second. Just to see if Fred's voice will actually stop croaking quite so much. Okay, here we go. Over to the Cleric. Yes, I'm aware I did not select the Cleric from the Wizards of the Coast. I found a better one. Okay, all right. Cleric Basics for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. Wisdom should be your highest ability score because it is in fact directly connected to how well you use your divine magic, and using divine magic for a cleric is a pretty big deal. You want to be good at doing that. It is wise to increase your wisdom to 20 reasonably quickly rather than taking feats. Constitution is your second most important ability score because this relates to how long your cleric survives in a battle or a fight, and a lot of clerics wind up in melee battle or in a melee combat. So you want to be good at surviving a battle, particularly because you could wind up at the front line. Okay. Now, if you want to wear heavy plate armor, you will want a strength score of 15 to meet the requirements of wearing plate armor. You don't need to necessarily have a strength score of 15 straight away when you start, particularly if you're not planning to wear armor till later on. If you want to wear just medium half plate armor, so medium armor, you will need a dexterity score of 14 to meet the to get the most out of the armor, basically. Okay, to benefit from the bonuses that that half plate armor has, you probably want to have a 14 in dexterity. Now, the reason being is you can have as high as a +2 dexterity modifier in half plate armor. So to capitalize on that, probably a good idea. Now, I know this sounds a little bit like power gaming and optimization, but you'll understand later on. So when you're planning things out, to sort of decide where do you think you're going with this. Whereas something like dexterity is not particularly important when you're wearing plate armor, because you probably won't benefit from a dexterity modifier for your plate armor. Dexterity is only going to wind up helping you with ranged attacks, which you probably won't be using because you'll be using spells. Proficiency with the religion skill is usually expected from a cleric, because they are meant to know about religion. Now, they would have obviously know plenty about their own religion, but you probably should also know about other people's religions or other civilizations or races' religions. And so when somebody says, we need to make a religion check here, who's got religion? And if the cleric can't say, I've got it, you're probably going to be frowned on. And the last thing you want is somebody to razz you and give you a hard time because you didn't select religion. In terms of the rest of the skills, frankly, I don't think it really matters too much. But Clerics are usually going to be very good with insight as a skill because of their high wisdom score. But as I said, it doesn't really matter that much. The good thing about having a high insight skill is, and because you if you take it as a skill, it will allow you to determine the motives of some of the NPCs and monsters that you interact with. So that's one aspect to it, but it's not absolutely vital. Okay. When you are selecting your cantrips, the best cantrips to select is, frankly, I would go with Sacred Flame, particularly from the Player's Handbook. If you're only able to use that book and nothing else, that would be the one you would select. It's probably one of the better damage-dealing cantrips. It is also set up and works a particular way. Sacred Flame is going to be targeting a dexterity saving throw. So you really only want to use Sacred Flame on a creature that is slow. If you're using it on something that's fast, it doesn't work very well. But Sacred Flame is the perfect tool to have when you're dealing with undead, and zombies are undead. The rest of your cantrips are probably better off to be utility cantrips that give you sort of a better balance, or the best balance of play with a bit more flexibility and more options. And I would always say guidance is right there at the top, because clerics are one of the few, if not only, one of the few classes, no, I think it's just one of the few classes that get guidance. Guidance is probably the best spell or best cantrip in the game. I don't think there's a cantrip that matches that at all, including damage-dealing cantrips. They just don't hold a bar to this thing. Thaumaturgy is a very good cantrip. Mending is a pretty good cantrip. A bit situational, but still very good. And Light, because it produces light, is also a very good cantrip. Any of those would be good choices. You only get 2 first-level spells at character level 1, so ensure that you have. And I would say, I'm going to just tell you what you should take. I'm going to give you 3 options, but I would say Bless is at the top, and then either take Healing Word or Cure Wounds. The going sort of mentality right now at level 1 is Bless and Healing Word, because Healing Word can be cast at range, at a distance, whereas Cure Wounds can't, even though it does more healing than Healing Word. And then after that, as you select and pick up more first level spells, I'm going to suggest the following: Command, Detect Magic if nobody else has Detect Magic in your party, and Guiding Bolt. Those are probably the only ones that I can see that you're probably going to wind up wanting to pick up. And then the best feats for a cleric. When you decide you want to use feats, I would say that Lucky is right there up the top of pretty much every single class that you could play. Lucky is a very good feat. Resilient, because it's all about the Constitution saving throw. You're going to be using Bless a lot, which is a concentration spell, and so you want to be able to avoid losing concentration on Bless, and so Resilient allows you to do that. Warcaster does something similar, but it does a bit more as well. Alert is also a very good feat. Frankly, Alert is useful for any class. And then Heavy Armor Mastery is a pretty good option, provided you are proficient in heavy armor. You wouldn't take it unless you do have heavy armor proficiency. So that's all the stuff around the cleric. I think everything else is a choice that you can make. These are just the basics. These are just what I consider to be the essentials. This list of recommendations are taken from my personal experience, my group who have been playing for a very long time, and we sat down and tried to nut out what we thought you would need to know. And so this is the advice that we have for you. Okay, let's go to my webcam and let's go to chat and see how we are doing here. David Rose, how's it going, David Rose? Okay, so I don't know how many people are here, but we're about to actually start doing some character creation. Because there's hardly any comments, I'm not going to be doing a lot of Q&A by the looks. Looks like we're just going to go straight into this. So make sure you have your character sheet, your dice, your pen or pencil ready. If you've got using your PDF, make sure you've got that open, because we're going to build one. The best way to support this class, this is a weekly class where I do beginner character creation. We will cover all of the classes probably including the artificer, which is a nightmare, frankly. But the best way is Patreon. Patreon supports all 5 classes that I run. You can pay as little as $1 a month, and you get everything that I do here and support that, but all the stuff that I upload to Patreon as well. Yeah, it's a good way. Otherwise, super chats and super stickers are welcome. But let's have a look at the poll. We only have 8% who are first time creating a character. We have 8% not finished creating their character. No, this is not their first time. Okay, so that's out of 12 votes. And just watching 17%. So 67%, no, this is not their first time. Okay, all right. Now, if you may have noticed, I have not focused on advanced power building. Okay, and that's not what we do here. What we do is we create characters. And that's what I want you to focus on too. Is that going to work? Yeah, actually, kind of. The lights are a little bit hard for my eyes to deal with, but that's not too bad. Okay, so let's go over to D&D Beyond. That's where we're going to work today. Now, is that window going to work? Let's go over here and see if we can pull it up. That's the wrong one. That's not what I want. Okay, let's try that again. Now, for those of you who are new, if you want me to use just the free options, let me know, please. If you want me to use all of the options that do require money, then I can do that. But yeah, it's always a good idea to let me know what you consider useful to you rather than what you consider not useful to you. Okay? So this is D&D Beyond, and I am live. Hello, Big Kid. Big Kid is a patron, supports me on Patreon. Okay, so what's your tip, David? Write down page numbers from all the race class backgrounds. Yep, which we mentioned, yes. So for those of you who are here and are dungeon masters, please feel free to send your players my way and I can help them build their character, okay? I can assure you, I promise you, I'm not looking to show them how to build optimized, painful characters that you don't want to have in your game. That is not my intention at all. It is simply to get them moving. Okay, so I think we have got that ready to go. Nobody's mentioned that they want to do anything specific. So I will go through the process and show you what I've got. You'll see the tabs here. So create a character. We go up to collections tab. Go down to my characters. And that should be coming up now. I just selected it. Now these are my characters. When we're dealing with free characters, you can only have a maximum of 6. I have 4 characters right now. So 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a character. So since, what's that? I love having Aura of Vitality from Tasha's. The nature domain. Scott. Okay, hello Scott, how are you? So if that's the case, I would normally hit the button that says create a character. This is the free option. But since we sound like we're going to be doing something that requires us to use Tasha's, we're probably going to have to go through a different route. So we'll go over here to my campaigns, which frankly isn't my campaign, but that doesn't matter. And we will scroll on down, view the campaign, and this here has got, right, so we're going to create an unassigned character for this campaign. So if you have a Dungeon Master with D&D Beyond and they have their own campaign, you can create a character and assign it to that campaign if you want to. How's it going, Scott? All right, so let's get started. So create unassigned character. Confirm. Halfling Nature Cleric. Oh, it looks like people are already making decisions. Hi, Seeker, how's it going? Maybe we can have an overview and brief on each of the subclasses, like what nature domain. Not a chance, Seeker. I'm not doing that. There are too many. There are way too many. Okay, we can go back and make a. I mean, because it's an ongoing class, it means eventually we'll make make every subclass. That's probably what's going to wind up happening. is we'll go through and wind up making multiple characters for multiple classes and multiple subclasses. So yeah, there's no way I want to explain all of that. I think it's a bad idea. I know you're trying to help, but yeah, too much. I will go insane. And I'm doing this live, which is pretty stressful as it is. Okay, Nolan, I just pressed the random button. See this little blue thing here says randomize, so you can write in your name here manually if you like, or you can randomly select it, or you can use the fantasy name generator. Okay, there's also a plus where we can add an image, but we won't do that until we know what we're dealing with. Okay, so rolling down here, I guess we're not doing homebrew content, but we will do critical role content. I guess we'll do that. Non-core, we'll turn that all on. I don't know exactly what you guys want to do today. We'll keep the dice rolling on. We're not going to worry about optional class features. Optional. Do we need to turn on optional class features today? Yeah, it's well and truly out of the scope of this tutorial. Optional class features. Yeah, I suppose we can turn them on. And customizing your origin. Do we really want to customize the origin? Well, we'll just turn it on. Does it matter? We're not necessarily going to do it. So your advancement type. Talk to your Dungeon Master. Figure out if you're going to be using experience points. Is that how you're leveling up, or using milestones? I'm going to leave it as milestones. Our hit point type. We can manually put them in, or we can do it fixed and use the machine can do all the work for us. So you have a choice. You can pick whichever one you want. You can do it manually or fixed. I'll just stay with fixed. Prerequisites. We've got feats, classes, requirements. We're not really going past level 1, so it won't matter. Show level scaling spells. Yes, we'll do that. Encumbrance. So talk to your Dungeon Master. How do they use encumbrance? I'm going to say use encumbrance, but we'll turn off the coin weight. There's a button for that right there. We'll turn it off. We won't worry about that right now. Keep your money in a bank. That's where it's supposed to be. Don't carry it on you. Don't put it underneath your mattress. That's not a safe place. Now, your ability score. There is an ability score for all of your 6 abilities, and there's a modifier. And the modifier is the smaller number that you're going to use more often. So I want you to put that at the top. It'll be the biggest number. So that's why I've got modifier top rather than score top. Okay. Next, privacy. Don't care if it's public or private. So it's public. And then we're going to hit, now there's a back button, the previous button, or we next it. We're moving forward. Okay. I've got all sources turned on, and now somebody had already typed in Halfling Nature Cleric. I feel like I've been roped in, and normally it's like a jump fest. I type in what sort of race are we going to have, and then we go for it. And Big Kid, you have tried to jump in there in advance and nail everything down. Nice try. Nice try. We would build your character if I super chatted, but right now I'm going to say hashtag pick a race. Here we go. Right. Everybody gets in on this now. So this is part of the participation. You will make some choices. We will select the one that comes up first. Once I put in hashtag pick a race. If you jump in early, I'm going to ignore it. I've decided because I know a lot of you have already, you know the format of my class, so you know how to jump ahead. So I'll now put in pick a race. Now your race options are as follows. You have Aarakocra, Aasimar, Air Genasi, Astral Elf, the Auto Gnome, the Bugbear. Yes, this is legacy content, people. We can use that. We can use the legacy or the non-legacy. We have Centaur, we have Changeling, we have, forget about the custom lineage, I don't want to do that if I can help it. Forest Gnome from Scott. Thank you, Forest Gnome it is. David, the Dwarf would have won, but it wasn't quite fast enough. So where is it? Where's my gnome? There's my gnome. There are 4 gnomes to select from. Here it is, the Forest Gnome. Gotta love a forest gnome and a rock gnome. So this tells you all the information from the player's handbook about it. You get dark vision, you get your gnome cunning, which basically means you have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws against magic. Ooh, nice one. You get natural illusionist. So basically you get minor illusion as cantrip, which is a very good cantrip, by the way. Intelligence is your spell casting ability for minor illusion, that is. But it won't matter because we're creating a cleric today. Speak with small animals. I always liked this, but I wish they had changed it to speak with beasts rather than small beasts. Do we need to really just speak with the small ones? Can't we speak with all of them? I mean, they might eat you, but and you could at least talk to them while they're chomping on you. Never seen an Asmart. No, they do exist. Okay, so we've got our forest gnome. Let's go down and see if there are any choices. Now, if you see an exclamation mark beside something, you know there's a choice to be made. But no choices. It's all locked in. We're ready to go. Let's move on. Our class. What is our class? Our class is Cleric. So we'll pick a Cleric. So with your Cleric, it tells you how it works. It tells you what your primary ability is. We talked about that before, what your saving throws are that you're proficient with. What sort of spells you get, first level spells at first level. You've got your divine domain, so we'll be picking a domain very shortly. And yes, so there's a few things here that we need to deal with. So we'll go add to the class. Right, we're not finished. We have two choices that we need to make. First off, if you wanted to adjust the level of the character, it is here. There's a little drop down arrow. We're going to be doing a character at level 1. At level 1, you get maximum hit points. So your hit dice is an 8-sided dice. So you don't roll, you don't take average for the first level. It's just 8, and then you add your Constitution modifier once we know it. We don't know it yet, though. Okay. So moving down, let us pick our proficiencies. Now, skills. I am going to pick one skill right now. Don't mess around, okay? Don't get heckled. Just take religion. It doesn't matter that you don't have a high modifier in intelligence because you're taking religion. That's actually unimportant. Now I want you to pick a skill, people. We've got a few to pick from. Hashtag. Pick a skill. You'll find that a lot of dungeon masters don't let you make some skill checks unless you are proficient, and other dungeon masters will allow you to make a skill check even if you are proficient or not proficient. But again, you still get your proficiency bonus to whatever you got. So whatever you do with your intelligence, don't dump your intelligence. Okay. Perception. David has said perception. Scott said perception. Now, for those of you who are new here, we can't pick perception. Look, there's persuasion, medicine, insight, and history. Those are the choices as part of the class. Okay, insight. Thank you, Shiner81. Shiner81 pick a skill, and it's the one that's not available to the cleric. You can pick other stuff somewhere else. Okay, we can adjust things later on, maybe. Okay. Perception is the super skill, by the way, for anybody who's here who's not aware. It's the one skill you probably always want to have, and won't be too difficult with a new game, I suspect, since you're going to get almost all the skills anyway. Right, we get a divine domain. So there are some choices here. There are quite a few. Somebody had already put in, remember, don't put in your response until I put in my response. Pick a domain. You hold off on pressing the button until my message comes through. Yes, Scott, Shiner is paying attention. So the different domains that you can use are the following. We have Arcane, we have Death, we have Forge, we have the Order domain, we have the Grave domain, Knowledge, Life, Light, Nature. How's it going, Spirit Wolf? Welcome to the party. Yeah, you could do that. You could do that, David. Yep. Life. Lol. Seeker's gone lol. How did you go with lol? But we've got life. Dread, nature. Okay, so David said life. You got in there first. Life it is. The life domain is very popular, and the reason usually is because of the heavy weapon proficiency that you get with it. It's like a nice little added bonus there. Okay, so now when you choose this, you get proficiency with heavy armor. That means you can wear that plate armor as a cleric. Nacho Man is also a patron. Welcome back, buddy, and supports me on Patreon. Okay. You were saying hello to Spirit Wolf. I forget that you guys know each other pretty well by now. There are so many of these going on. So we've got the Discipline of Life. Basically, it makes your healing spells more efficient. It's not a bad thing to have at all. Okay, we've made our choices. We're ready to move on. So press next. Okay, today is our let's pick a ability score generation method. Hashtag. Hashtag. Now remember, you can't type it in until I've put my message in. Pick a ability score method. So what is it going to be? Is it point by, standard array, or are we rolling today? And okay, so once you've decided what it's going to be, that's the one I will use. 4 to 5 times a week. Really? 4 to 5 times a week? What are we doing 4 to 5 times a week? Yes, I think it's 6 times a week. I have 5 classes, and then we have this. On day 6, I do my feature presentation. Oh my gosh, everybody was waiting and they pressed the button. Point by it is. Point by looks like it's, yeah. So, Mr. Spy Guy. Hello, Mr. Spy Guy. Well done. David Ross said point by. Scott got point by. Spirit Wolf got in the dice, but didn't quite get in fast enough. Yes, I have regulars, which is great. I'm glad that you guys like hanging out and doing this. So, point by. So, we have some choices to make. Remember, we're a cleric, so we probably want to put a lot of our points into wisdom. Now, we could take a 14 or a 15 in wisdom, so that is our choice to make. How's it going, Mr. Spy Guy? Welcome to the party. Do not feel intimidated by the others. Get your choices ready. So, do we have a 14 or a 15 in wisdom? Hashtag. Pick 14 or 15 in wisdom. We're going to make a wisdom reasonably high. Okay, it doesn't need to be a 15, but it's nice if you can. Question mark. Here it goes. It's going in, people. I'm waiting. Oh. Yeah, so for those of you, if you are unable to actually comment, you'll 15 it is. Mr. Spy Guy got in there a bit quick, but it's all right. Spirit Wolf did 15 as well. Yeah, I've set the chat to subscriber only, so you need to be subscribed for 20 minutes before you can actually vote and comment in the chat. And by all means, I would like you to do so. It looks like 15 is the choice, so that's going to cost us a few points. It's going to cost us 9 points, so that's just been deducted. That's our points that we get. 27 points is our standard. Okay, so next we have a Constitution. Now, we could go 15 or a 14, but if we go 15 in Constitution, we're really making life quite difficult for ourselves. So what are we picking for our, so what score for a Constitution? Hashtag pick score. Please, we're not dumping any of the abilities if we can help it, okay? Pick a score. Pick score for Constitution. There we go. It's in. All right, so I'm waiting for you to decide. Remember, it costs a lot of points for a 14 or a 15. It might be better to go with, and frankly, when you're doing a point buy, you might be better to go with like a 12 or a 14. Do you know what I mean? We do have heavy armor, so we do have to make sure that our strength is high enough to be able to support that. Okay, heavy armor means we need a strength of 15. That's quite high. That's quite a bit. Yeah. David said a 14. Okay, put 1 point into Dex, and the rest of the score totals can be 11. Okay, so we're going to go with 14. So we'll make our Constitution quite high. So we've got 11 points left. What we will do is I'm going to take the definitive decision here, and we're going to go right across the board and just Make sure we have flat, no modifiers that are minus. Okay, just to start us off, just to see where we're going with this. All right, so we're going to have to deal with our strength. Now, we can't take that much more in strength. We could only get it as high as a 13, which means we're not going to be wearing heavy armor, which potentially means, I mean, you don't have to wear heavy armor as a life cleric. So where do we put the rest of our points? Hashtag. Where do we put the last 3 points? And I'm asking you that question. You want to put them, so you don't have to put them all into one place. You can spread them out. So Mr. Spy Guy says charisma. Charisma, okay, so be it. It's done. Done, skis. We're not worrying about strength, so that armor proficiency isn't going to be what we're worried about, obviously. So this is how it works out. Once we've put in our points, if you come down here, the software package actually calculates things for you. So our strength will be a 10. Our dexterity is going to be an 11, but that is because we get a racial bonus of +1 because of our gnome. So it becomes an 11, our dexterity. Our constitution is a 14. Okay, there's no bonus to that, so it's going to be 14. Our intelligence is 10, but we get a +2 bonus because of our race, so it becomes 12. And then we have our wisdom, which is going to be a 15. It's all right to have a 15 in wisdom when you're starting out. I know some people say you got to have a 16. No, you can have a 14, a 15, a 16. It's fine. And then the last one here is going to be our charisma, and we're going to get a +1, and we put most of our points into that. Okay. No, Noble, this is still on. We are still in the process of doing this. You might have missed the first part of the presentation, but we are still going. Okay, so you don't need to worry yourself. Okay, so we've got all the votes in for that. So we've done that. We've selected our ability scores. Let's just move on. That is our point buy system. Okay, so at this point, we're going to check and pick a background. But before we do that, I'm just going to see that little plus sign. We can actually pick a portrait. You don't have to draw it. We can pick a forest gnome. We'll pick a forest gnome here that looks sort of appropriate. I'm going to take Blondie. Blondie he is. Okay. A punk rock gnome or a hippie, a yuppie gnome. You want a yuppie gnome? How did we get down that trail? Anyway, hashtag. Welcome, Noble, by the way. Now, what have we got here? We want to hashtag. Don't put in your selection until I've put mine in, people. Otherwise, I will ignore it. Pick a background. We can pick any background we like. It does not need to be optimal. Remember, pick a background. And I'm pressing the button, and we'll see who gets in there first. Now, the options are many. Okay, I will read them out as you decide and put your entries in. Acolyte, anthropologist, archaeologist, astral drifter, athlete, something, fold. Is there a fold? Noble, fold. Fold? I'm looking for fold. Fold. A folk hero, sorry. No, that's fine. Folk hero it is, Noble. I thought that was what you're talking about. So folk hero it is. So we get survival, which is kind of fits in nicely with wisdom. We've got animal handling, which again kind of fits in nicely with wisdom. It is kind of like the optimal choice. but it is also fun. So that's cool. Right, we got proficiency in land vehicles, and we're going to pick an artisan tool. So hashtag pick a artisan tool. Sorry, Shiner and Scott, you guys just didn't quite get in there. Hashtag pick a tool. Proficiency. Okay. All right. I'm awaiting. So we have a lot of things. We have the alchemist supplies. We have brewer's supplies. We have the calligrapher's supplies, the carpenter's supplies, cartographer, cobbler, cook, glassblower, jeweler, leather worker, mason, a painter, a potter, a smithy, a tinkerer, a weaver, and a woodcarver. So I am waiting for your choice. And once your choice comes in, I will put it in, for whichever one is first. Noble, I did figure out that when you typed in fold, I kind of figured it was folk here. Right, David Ross. Dave, why do I keep calling you David Ross? Sorry, David. David Rose. Jeez, David Rose. Okay, here we go. David Rose has selected cartographer. Mapping. Cool. Nice. Scrolling down here, we have our background feature. I know a lot of people hoo-ha and say, background features are garbage. But look, it's the way you use them. You're doing something wrong if you haven't figured out how to use it in a way that's interesting. So you can hide amongst the commoners. So take down that that tyrant and hide amongst the commoners. Okay. Selecting characteristics. This is where you'll need some dice, people. So I want you to roll 2 8-sided dice, and I am not going to wait for if you get the two dice rolls in before everybody else. 2 8-sided dice. Roll 2. I'll just take whatever comes first. 2d8. All right. I bet you have. I don't know why. Is it, David? I think when I see your name, I just get this image of Bob Ross, and I think that's what was going on here. It's like, oh, it's David Ross. David Ross must be Bob Ross's brother. I don't know why, but that's. Thank you, Spirit Wolf. 4 and a 7. Let's see what those are, shall we? So the 4 is I have a strong sense of fair play and always try to find the most equitable solution to arguments. Wow, this is one of the nicest characters we've ever had. Let's take that one. And what is 7? 7 is I misuse long words in an attempt to sound smarter. I try to avoid using long words in an attempt to sound smarter. Okay, no, we've selected it. It's in. She's baked in. Okay, so now we're going to do 3 6-sided dice rolls. If you don't have dice, I'm sorry. Whenever you come to one of my live streams, Noble, bring dice. I think everybody who comes here regularly know that they have to take their dice with them to work, or they need to have a little tray in their car as they're driving to roll their dice in. So roll 3d6. All right. I'm waiting for my... So we're going to roll for ideals, bonds, and flaws. You do not need to roll or randomly select when you're doing your character building. You can, in fact, edit them, or you can create your own completely. Like, it's all good. Spirit Wolf, you got in there fast. You got a 2, a 5, a 3, and that will do nicely. We'll go with ideal. The ideal is 2. What is that? Fairness. No one should get preferential treatment before the law. And no one is above the law. Very lawful. We will pick this one. This is our ideal. Number 5 is for bonds. 5 is I protect those who cannot protect themselves. Very honourable. Very Robin Hood. But in this case, it's more like, is it Robin Hood? Oh, Robin. I don't know. What is it? It's some sort of Robin. Nah. 3. What do we got here? Flaw. What's our flaw going to be? The people who knew me when I was younger know my shameful secret. Ooh. So I can never go home again. Oh my God. It's an edgelord. Isn't that always the way? Isn't that always what the edgelords say? It's like, I had such a rough upbringing. My upbringing was so bad, but I can never talk of it. Robin Williams. Oh my God. Yeah, Spirit Wolf is quick. I think what he's done is he already knows the pattern of how I do things, so he's already got his entry locked into the chat box, and he's just got to wait for my entry to come through, and he presses the button. And he's probably got good internet too. That might help. So going down here. Okay, so character details. We're going to choose an alignment, which I'm going to go neutral. I always do this, people. You can pick whatever alignment you like. Please do not feel like alignment is the way you play your character. What you do is you select the alignment that fits the way you play your character. And if you're going to play your character evil and your Dungeon Master says, I don't want evil characters in my campaign, stop playing the character that way, okay? And then change the alignment to what is appropriate for what you're playing now. Yes. Right, faith. You can have a god. We can add in. So our faith, I'm going to add in, thank you, Mr. Spy Guy. Robin Williams is our god. Williams. Sage. Oh, it's too late. You can't take it away. Somebody took something out. Oh, no. Robin was Sage of Laughter. There we go. We have it. That is our faith. Yeah, I bet they are. Lifestyle. Pick a lifestyle. Hashtag. Wait for it, people. Hashtag. Pick a lifestyle. Gotta wait for my message to come through. So, Mr. Spy Guy, if you were wondering what winds up happening in these live streams, yes, they are supposed to be educational, but yes, we do goof off a lot. Yesterday, they had me in stitches. We had a whole world that revolved around snails. How that happened. Comedian. Yep. Well, comedian's not a lifestyle. No electricity. Where are you getting no electricity from? What does that mean? It's wretched, squalid, poor, modest, comfortable, wealthy, aristocrat. You just have to pick one, people. Just have to pick one. Everything else you voted on, you've been really quick on. And now I get comedian and no electricity. I mean, how does that work? I've been to a few and really enjoyed them. Good. I'm glad you do. The Great Snail. Yes, that's right. No electricity. That's snail power. Okay. Full hillbilly. What are we going? Great Snail. Wealthy. Okay, we're going wealthy. Thank you, Mr. Spy Guy. Comfortable. You've got to get in there quick, people. Got to get in there quick. All right, so now that we've selected that, we can move on down. And we have here physical characteristics, hair, skin, eyes, height, weight, age, gender. Very nice. Very good. Love it. You can add these things in. I'm not going to do this, okay? I just can't make enough jokes on any of that. Now, if you want to edit any of the details around your personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, you can. There's a green button here that says Edit Traits. Click it. Select the bit that you don't like. Tap in what you need. I deleted a full stop, and then I put it back again. And then I can delete it again. Oh, just like that. And then when I'm finished, I go back out, and oh my gosh, no more full stop. It's amazing. So yes, editing this is actually very easy, which means you do not need to select any of the stuff. You can just leave it blank and just type in your own thing. That's why I say you can actually make up the stuff yourself. Our notes, there are a lot of different notes you can put in here. There's an entry, there's an add notes green button here for organizations, allies, enemies, backstory, and other. So we're going to put in an ally here for this character. And your ally is Robin Williams. Okay. Your God is on your side. Here we go. Robin believes in you. It is all about the fun. And since we're not actually playing with this character, we can do whatever we like. In fact, I'm running a one-shot for the group this week, and we're doing Ravenloft for Halloween. Not that New Zealand celebrates Halloween, but one of the characters is going to be Shaggy, and he's bringing along Scooby-Doo as an animal companion. Oh dear. Okay, so next we've done that. We've done all the things we need to do. Starting equipment. Now you remember how I said choose your equipment or choose the gold? I want you to choose the equipment, and then we'll spend what gold we have left over. Okay? All right, let's go here. So we have some... Oh, I'm not proficient in the Warhammer. Gonna have to take the mace. Sorry. Just don't have it. How did that happen? I don't know. This is weird. So let's make some choices. Let me just type in the right place first. Hashtag pick armor. Pick some armor out of the 3 choices that are here. Not from something else that is not there. From the pick armor. Type in your armor. Some Scooby-Doo snacks in the next one shot. What we could do is we could, when we do magic items, we can make some consumable Scooby snacks as a magic item that you can include in your game. Chain. Okay, Spy Guy said chain. Scott says chain. Chain it is, if proficient, which we are, because we are proficient in heavy armor. Okay, we get simple weapon or a light crossbow. Okay, hashtag pick a simple weapon. No, pick a weapon. Pick a simple weapon. Hang on, weapon or crossbow. So you need to tell me what the simple weapon is, people. Otherwise, not terribly helpful. Okay, so do I need to tell you what the simple weapons are? And remember, simple weapon is not short sword yet. That's playtest material. That's unearthed arcana. So don't say short sword. Simple crossbow. Okay, Scott, you got in there fast, mate. It is. It's a crossbow. Got to be quick here. Right, picking a pack. Pick a pack. Okay, all right. Fine, Spirit Wolf. You can have the pick. You can have the pack of the Explorer pack. That's fine. I don't care. That's fine. I'm not crying. Okay, so a shield and a holy symbol. We get a shield or a holy symbol. So pick. What are we gonna have here? Hashtag. I know we're past the time, people. I know normally I take a break, and I will. Okay, I promise I will. But we're going to get to a nice point where we can do that. So this is pick a. Amulet. Was it emblem? Emblem. What's the one? The holy symbol. Holy symbol. Or whatever the heck that is. Query. It's a query. So we got that. Shield. Well, we've got shield, but we need to have what is it going to be on it. Which one? Which one of those? You see the 4 options. Is it not clear? Tattoos. How did you come up with tattoos? How do we come with? What are you looking at? What are you guys voting on? We're not voting on this. You're not picking tools. We're picking this one. Holy symbol and a. So which one of this? These things here. The amulet, the emblem, the holy symbol. A pine cone. Where did you get a pine cone from? Priest stuff. What? The option. Okay, thank you. David Ross, you the saviour. Okay, so we need some tools. Somebody said cartographer, so we're going to take those tools there. I think that makes sense. And now, once you've got everything selected, we get the shovel, we get the iron pot. Once you do all of this, do not stuff it up, because I've done this myself. You have to press the big red button that says add starting equipment, otherwise it doesn't add it. Okay, so press that button. And then we do it. Okay, it's in. Now, we're not finished. Do not move on. Okay, there are a few things we need to do, otherwise it will balls things up. You want to go here to the backpack, and you want to turn it on. Use it. Press the use button. In use now. Your chainmail, you're not wearing your chainmail, which means if you're not wearing your chainmail, it doesn't add it to your armor class calculation. So you must wear the armor. So wear the armor. Okay, now it will do all the calculation for your armor class. Scroll on down, and now with the crossbow bolts, okay, we could use them, but that's not the important thing. It's the crossbow, the light crossbow. We want to turn that on and wield it. Even if we're not holding it and using it right now, we just want to do the maths for it. So click wield. And now it will do the attack bonus for you and the damage output for your character with their light crossbow. Do the same for the mace. So turn it on so it does the calculation. Move on down, and we have shield. Okay, we're going to turn on the shield as well. I know you're thinking, yeah, but what about all the other things? Don't worry about it. Turn it on. That will add that to your armor class. So if you're using your light crossbow, you need to take your armor bonus off. Okay, and you'll just have your mace and your shield. But that does all the calculations for you. We have 10 gold to spend, but we are also a caster. So we have a few other things to do. Our equipment is ready to move on. We're going to view our sheet. Oh, there it is. So you can see along the top, we have all our modifiers. We have our proficiency bonus, our walking speed, our initiative. You'll notice that there's the saving throws included, all the calculations for the saving throws. You may be able to see it, you may not, just depending on where my head is. If my head's in the way, you won't be able to see it. We've got the armor class calculated, which is reasonable. It's 18. You know, how many hit points we have is calculated there. You can see all our bonuses and how much damage we do with our crossbow, our mace, and our unarmed strike. Don't punch things. Use a weapon. Okay, that's our attacks. These are all our actions listed here. They're little tabs that show you all the stuff you can do. Bonus action if you have one. Reactions are listed here as well. We have spells. We need to select some spells. And we've got inventory. Now, I'm going to do inventory last. We're going to do spells first. And then I'm going to take a break and leave you to fill in and spend all our money. Okay? So that's what we're going to do right now. So managing spells. Because we haven't actually done that. we actually have to get some spells sorted out. So we should have 3 cantrips. And we should have a bunch of first level spells. So we're going to turn off the first levels. And we just want the cantrips that we have access to. So Sacred Flame, we're learning Sacred Flame. Okay, but we still have 2 more cantrips that we need to select. So out of these ones that we have available, you're going to tell me which ones you want. Will it come up? Hashtag pick a cantrip. Now I could say, oh, you have to pick guidance, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm picking only 1 damage dealing cantrip. Okay. Light, guidance, Sacred Flame. David, you're done. That was easy. Very good. Simple as that. That was so fun, wasn't that? That was easy. Okay, now let's do the next one. We're going to turn off this. We're going to go to first level spells because we need to get 3. 14 known. Ooh, always prepared. Now 14 known. So we need to get some spells that are prepared. So I am going to go first off hashtag pick first level spells. Bam, right there, like that. We already get blessed because we're a light cleric. Okay, light domain, we get that already. So Mr. Spy Guy, you do not need to concern yourself. We have cure wounds and bless already, and they don't count towards our prepared spells. Okay, inflict wounds. You want inflict wounds. Where is inflict wounds? Yeah, there it is. Prepare it. Got 2 more to go. Remember, we do not need to prepare cure wounds or bless. We've always got them prepared. So we just need 2 more spells. What are the choices? We have, there's Bane, Bless, no, Bane, forget about Bless, we've already got it. Ceremony, Command, Destroy and Create Water, Detect Evil and Good, Detect Magic, Detect Poison and Disease. Shield of Faith. Mr. Spy Guy has picked Shield of Faith. Okay, Shield of Faith it is. We need 1 more. Command. Man. We've got Command. We will command you. Now, that is our spell selection done. Bammo. So, you are ready to rock with your spells. There are your spells. It does all of the maths for you, so you don't have to figure out anything. Okay, your DCs are figured out. Sacred Flame is ready to go. Light is ready to go. Most of these spells don't require an attack roll, which is kind of nice. But yes, you've got all your stuff ready to go. So let's go back here to inventory, and we're going to manage our inventory. We have 10 gold pieces. Sorry, Scott, too late. Sorry, buddy. All right, I'm going to put in healer's kit because it's really silly not to take a healer's kit when you're an adventurer. I don't care whether you're a cleric or anything else. Like, not taking a healer's kit is a very silly thing not to do. So we're going to add that item. I just spent half the gold, people. Okay, I just spent half of it. Add item. Did I add it? I hope I did. I hope I did. Did I add it? Yeah, add there. Add to the pack. There it is. Now we're going to deduct it from our currency. We have 10 gold, but not for long. I spent half of it. Like, okay. This is our equipment. So we can do a search and find stuff, people. So you're going to type in hashtag pick some gear. Hashtag pick some adventuring gear. There is what we want. Start listing off your gear, people. You know the story. Looking through that player's handbook if you need to. Do you remember? And I am going to leave that screen up while I go and take a quick break. Less than 5 minutes. I just need to empty the lizard and I'll come back. Okay? Rope, rations. Okay, I'll be back. Actually, no, I will actually just flip it over to Arnold. You know what to do, people. I know you do. I'll be back. Here we go. almost in. Just about done. Just about ready to come back into it. There. Looks like you've all been working very hard. Let us see if we can move on to the workspace. I am back. We are back into our task for today. And what have we got here? We've got a lot of things. John, how's it going? How you doing? We should just collaborate on the 10 gold pieces to get items to get. To get rations. Okay, David, Rose, we're gonna get some rations. What are the rations? 1 day of rations is very cheap. So we'll just go add to our pack. Done. We'll get 2. Add to a pack. And then we'll go down and we'll deduct our money. That's 1 gold piece. 2 rations. That's that gone. Rope. We want some rope. That's fine. We can get some rope. Mr. Spy Guy says rope. Rope it is. Rope. Pardon me. 1 gold. We'll get the hemp rope. We'll hemp it. And into the pack. And we need to spend some gold. And I see it there. Right, deduct that. Remove. Okay. A lot of moving back and forth very quickly. I do apologise if I'm moving too fast. Okay, 10-foot pole. We did have pole before. A pole. A pool. A 10-foot pole. It's very, very cheap. We'll just add a pole to our equipment. And we won't worry about paying for it because what's the point? It's so cheap. And apparently D&D Beyond doesn't like dealing with anything that's a currency other than gold. Okay, chalk. Yeah, we're going to have chalk. Chalk it is. Chalk, David, you want chalk? We get chalk. There we go. And we need to make sure we add our chalk. How many pieces of chalk do we want? 10 pieces of chalk. Add 10 items to the pack. It's cheap as. Chalk is not something you need to worry about. A lantern. Can we get a lantern? Lantern. And Everbright lantern. No, probably not going to be getting any of them. No, they're not going to work. Bullseye lantern. Oh, more lanterns. Oh, there's so many lanterns. A hooded lantern. How much? Oh, too much. Bullseye lantern. Too much. Is there other lanterns? No, we can't afford a lantern. We're not that wealthy anymore. Soap. David. So Mr. Spy Guy, sorry about the lantern. We'll have to steal one. Or save up. Save up. Soap. We can get soap. We can get quite a bit of soap. Keep everybody clean. Box of 10. And we'll add it to our equipment. And it's very cheap, so I'm not going to bother deducting it because I can't be bothered. We've got a lot of chalk. Yeah. Tinderbox. Scott, good idea. Tinderbox. The tinderbox. We'll add that to our pack. It's half gold piece. That's fine. Tinderbox is done. Can we get a 10-foot pole worth of high quality sleeping roll? Do you want a sleeping? Sleeping. I think it's called a beard roll, isn't it? Beard roll. Beard roll. There we go. You want a beard roll? We probably already had a beard roll, but we have one now, and that's money. I can deduct that money. That's a deductible item. All right, 2 gold left. All right, we're spending ourselves silly here. Oh, the wood axe is back again. Should have guessed. Guard pig. Why did Spirit Wolf has gone on that tangent? I remember this tangent before. Axe. I don't know that we're going to get an axe. No axe. So sorry about the axe. Got the chalk, ink, a pen, ink pen. I think last time it was actually quite expensive, but we can get an ink pen. There we go. Put it in our pack. Yeah, no point getting an ink pen without the ink. So we'll get the ink. Oh, can't get the ink. It's too expensive. We're not a soldier this time, so we can't get it from the military office. An attack goat. How do we get an attack goat? Really? An attack goat? No. What about some ball bearings? I don't see anybody saying anything about ball bearings. Or even caltrops, probably more fun. Caltrops. Caltrops. Let's go for the caltrops. Caltrops are... bag of caltrops is actually pretty cheap, so we'll just grab them. Add them to our pack. And some ball bearings. Why not? Since nobody said anything. Piton. Fine. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Spy Guy. Pitons. I had them to fill the space. No, that's not working. Why is that not working? Am I in the wrong place? Piton. Piton. There we go. Piton. We get a whole bunch of them. We'll just get 10. 10. Add them to our pack. Torches. Seeker. Yeah, he's channeling the ranger and the druid right now. So on the weekend, I was with my group and we were figuring out what to do with the druid. So next week is probably going to be the druid. God help us. Next character building will probably be the druid. So anyway, let's get those torches, shall we? Before I do anything else. Torches. Torches. Select some torches. Torch. What about just a torch? One torch? 2 torches? Any torches? Those cheap. We can get a few of them. We get 10 of them. 10 torches. And put them in our pack. Cool, cool. Clerics are a critical part of any team of adventurer. Yep, and you know, I kind of feel like you can use a druid or you can use a what is it? What's that thing? That thing, the bard. Yeah, bard. Yeah, bard. Something like that. But yes, they are pretty important. So we got torches. Have we spent enough money yet? Oh no, we've got 10. So Agile Monk is a patron, also supports me on Patreon to do this. He's also a moderator, for those of you who don't know. Welcome back, Monk. How are you doing? So have we got anything else that we need to buy that we might be able to afford? We don't have a lot of cash anymore. Like we've spent quite a bit of it. Do you want to know how much money we have? We probably maybe got 1 gold piece left. Do you know what I mean? That's probably about it. Ball bearings. Did I do ball bearings? Bearings. Ball bearings. Oh, the bag of ball bearings. Apparently they don't cost anything. Well, I know that's wrong. But we'll get them anyway. Put them in our pack. There we go. Right, I think we can say that we spent everything. All little bits and pieces. We're bled dry. It's all gone. All the other things probably added up to that. God knows if we can actually carry our weight. We're gonna need a mule. Yeah, dogs are really expensive, unfortunately. So no dogs for us. It's terrible. I sympathise, but unfortunately no dogs. Get yourself a dog later on, because dogs are expensive. So we've built a character. We've got all the information we need. You can export this thing. You can share it if you absolutely must, but we don't must, frankly. You can long rest, short rest. It's got all sorts of little things on it. You can, where was the manage option? If you press the button that says manage beside your name, you can go down there and it's, look, here we go. We can do all sorts of things with our settings, but we can also export it as a PDF. So you can turn it into a PDF. Yeah, the ink is too expensive to get, unfortunately. So if you wanted to have a printable character sheet, you can print it out. My understanding is the printed out D&D Beyond character sheet's not as good as the standard one, unfortunately. Okay, now don't run away, because I do have something I want to say before you all do run away, because I know you will, because you know we've finished making our character. I'm not going to make a second character today. I'm going to actually let myself breathe. What I want to say is I have a Discord, which I'm going to share the link to in a second. I'm going to pull that up. You can come and talk to me. You can chat with me over video chat or voice chat. Don't do text thing. I don't have time for that. But when I'm in the lounge, and I'm in the lounge a reasonable amount of times, come and chat with me if you need to. I am there for that. So I'm going to give you a link in this stream. It's available to anybody. You do not need to be a patron to use it. Add, invite people, make a copy. There we go. We go down here. We find our stream. Where is it? Is it over here? Yes, it is. Yes, we got the healers kit. We've got our first aid kit, mate. Don't you worry. I never let them forget that one. So this is the link that invites you. It will expire, not postbire, but expire. So it doesn't last forever. Dungeons and Chronics. I'm sorry. I did my best to try to communicate to everybody when it is. Yeah. So a lot of these programs were developed by people who chatted with me in Discord. Now, before we go any further and you disappear, there's one other thing that I need to do. If you jump into the room with me, do not freak out if Wally DM or AJ Pickett or somebody else from YouTube is talking to me in there, okay? Just stay quiet, stay quiet and wait for an opportunity to speak. Okay, that's my advice to you. But do not freak out. Anyway, I have a buddy right now who is doing a live stream. So we're going to go and crash his live stream. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm very friendly with a guy called Wally DM. And Wally DM right now has a Kickstarter launching his quintessential guide to monster encounters that he's doing with Mr. Trask. He's doing it along with, I believe it is DandD, Josiah. And I imagine this book, I've been hassling Josiah, DandD, to get a book made. And finally they're on the right track. It's happening. So I'm going to put the link in. And I would like you, once I finish this, to go and check them out, people. Go and see what he's up to, because he's got really quiet over there. I think we need to scare him a little bit. Okay, so I'm putting in the link. Oh no, that's not the link I wanted. How did that link get in there? That's not the link. Different link. No. Oh, don't do that. Go away. Like, let me try it again. See if I can actually get. No, come on. Why is it saying Discord? I don't want Discord. That's not the link. It's his channel. It's his live stream. That's what I want, is that live stream. And it's saying his Discord. Why is it doing that? That's weird. Let me refresh, try again. Come on, Wally. Yes, YouTube. There we go. There we go. All right, I think I got it this time. I ballsed it up really badly. So let's go crash Wally's live stream. I'm going to be over there too, by the way, in the chat. So I would like you to go and hassle Wally, ask him all sorts of questions. I'm going to put up the poll right now. Dear. Anyway, this is going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to his expression when this happens. Okay, let's see if this works. Because essentially the what is it, the redirect feature that YouTube has kind of sucks, frankly it does. So I just want to say thank you to all of my patrons who support me every week and every month to do these classes. It is an ongoing thing. We'll be back next week. We're doing the Druid, and I would like to say I'm really enjoying the support and the community that is starting to form. It's been really impressive. And it's been a lot of fun, and I hope it grows, and I hope it gets more entertaining. I really do. So, yes, please keep doing that. It's awesome. Thank you to everybody who's been part of the live streams and been watching my live streams. I really do appreciate it. Without you participating, it really doesn't, it's just not the same. It would fall flat, and it would be boring, and it would be sort of, it just wouldn't be worth doing, frankly. I thank you for watching the replays of my live streams and my edited videos. And wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. But go and roll those 20s over at Wally DM's channel in a second when I finish this stream. Let's go say hi to him.